Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in the name of the faculty and this, the 40th graduating class of your college, it is my pleasure to welcome you and declare these exercises open.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the president of York College, Dr. Marcia V. Keys.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. So, I know this is a very, very exciting time for all of you under this tent and outside of this tent. And we have quite a ceremony for you. Distinguished platform guests, alumni, and we have a number of classes of alumni who have returned. Our distinguished alumni president and cabinet is also here. Our keynote speaker, Comptroller Liu, honorary doctorate recipient Wells and his wife, Mrs. Wells, faculty members, members of the university community, members of the York College community, honorable legislators, parents, family, friends, but most of all, our graduates of 2010, welcome and good morning. Graduates, we have a number of speakers here for you this morning, and we need your full attention despite the very excitement that I know you're bubbling over with. And I'm going to start the program by punctuating what I had to say and introducing one of our distinguished legislators, because he surprised me this morning, and up to now, the time that I've been here at York, this gentleman has not missed an opportunity to bring greetings to our graduates. So I'm going to just deviate from the program for a minute to introduce our senior senator of New York, Chuck Schumer.
Well, thank you, President Keys. To you, to Comptroller Liu, to the distinguished degree winners, to the faculty, to the family and friends, but most of all, to you, the class of 2010 York, congratulations to each and every one of you on this great achievement. Now, first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, graduates, it is hard to pay for college. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out, and that's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So, I wrote a law last year that says every student here at York can take off their federal taxes, or if your parents paid, they can take off their federal taxes a full $2,500 to defray the cost of tuition, provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, to those of you who come from families below $200,000, thank you. For those of you who come from families below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid for tuition, takes that full tax credit. It's worth $2,500. And for those of you who come from families who make above $200,000, God bless you. Now, I'd like to say a word to the parents who are here today. Parents, I know how you feel sitting and watching your sons and daughters graduate, because just a few years back, my wife Iris and I sat in the audience and watched our daughter Jessica, our oldest, graduate from college. We watched her come up on the stage and take her diploma. We craned our necks to watch her hand move the tassel from one side to the other. It was one of the proudest and most emotional days of our life. And if you're like us, you think back to the tough times. We thought about when Jessica was a little less than 1 year old. She had 106.5 fever. We rushed her to the hospital and we didn't think she'd make it. Praise God, she did. We remembered her at 5 when we put her on the kindergarten bus. She ran to the back window, and as the bus drove away, with tears rolling down her cheeks, she waved goodbye to us and told us later she thought we were putting her on the bus and that she would never come back. And then we remembered her as a teenager, where she didn't say much to us, and when she did, we didn't understand a word she said. And then, moms and dads, you watch your daughters, your sons come up on the stage and take that diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. To the moms and dads here, congratulations to you. Now to the graduates. You know, these are tough times. We know that. It's a bad economy, high unemployment, threat of terrorism. As we speak, there are young men and young women from Queens, your age, overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq, defending our security and freedom and risking their lives. So these are tough times, and change occurs so fast. It's hard to keep up with it, certainly if you're an older person like me, but even for you young people. So it's not easy right now. But you know what, graduates? Americans and young Americans, New Yorkers and young New Yorkers, and York College grads through the decades. When the times are tough, you're tougher, you're smarter, you're more dedicated. So my advice to the class of 2010 is very simple. If you have a dream, figure it out now. Then reach for it. Reach as high as you can. Then reach deep down inside yourself and see what you're made of. My advice to the class of 2010 is very simple. Go for it. Now, sometimes you'll make the wrong choice, but if my experience is any indication, you'll pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward. But if you make the right choice, with a lot of hard work, a little luck, and some prayer, your life will be enriched forever. Now, I learned these choices myself, graduates. When I was sitting as you are, excuse me, graduating from college some 40 years ago, I learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid, for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country, or had hardly ever been out of the country before. But at the same time, I had met a girl, and I fell in love. Aww. I had to decide, do I go around the world for a whole year on the all-expense-paid scholarship, or do I stay home with the girl? Girl, scholarship. I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap yet. The story continues. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and when she returned, I went to the airport to meet her. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was wrong. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was. No scholarship. No trip around the world. No girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. Just give up. I stayed in my house for months, moped around, but somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I was at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad that I wasn't going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics and I wanted to run for office. My parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I grew in a family that struggled to send me to college and to law school, and this law firm was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But I had worked there the previous summer, and I hated it. And I wanted to reach for my dream and do something that would excite me and challenge me every single day. So that fall, at the age of 23, I ran for the New York State Assembly. I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician, as she said, out of your big, thick head. Well, graduates of York 2010, a few years earlier, I didn't get that girl. I lost that girl. But that November, I won the election. So, to you graduates of York College, this great class of 2010, go for it. Don't let your doubts, we all have doubts. That's the human condition. That's the condition God gave us. But don't let those doubts overcome you. Reach for your dream and go for it. To the great class of 2010, congratulations, good luck, Godspeed, and go for it.
Thank you, Senator Schumer, for your enthusiasm and for your leadership in the Senate in behalf of New York. Graduates, we commend you for reaching this milestone in your academic career. You made a commitment, you worked hard, and you sacrificed much to earn the degree that you will receive today. However, I'm sure that it would not have been at all easy had you not had strong support from caring mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, companions, children, family, and friends. So as we begin, let's applaud those people who have helped you. And of course, as you look to the left and also on the stage, you see many people who have been here at York serving as your intellectual anchors, as the people who have challenged you in the classroom and in the labs, as the mentors and guidance and counselors who have helped you on the way. And so I ask that you give our faculty, and I'd like them to stand, yes, and our staff, please stand, give them a round of applause, please. And those on the stage. This is by way of a heartfelt thank you. I'd like to acknowledge a few other people in the audience, and I'm not going to give my little commencement speech that I had, but I will get a chance during the course of the ceremonies to give you a few tidbits. I'd like to acknowledge especially our alumni. There's some on the stage, and I'd like to ask Ms. Bowes to stand. I know you're on the stage. There's some in the audience, our alumni who are back for the reunion. Please stand. Where are you? I'm not sure. Oh, over here. Good. Alumni. Wonderful. And the class here. What? These are York alumni. Some are a part of our York College community. Some are the leadership of our association. And others in the audience are the classes of 1975, 1980, 1985, and 1990. They're back to reconnect with us and to celebrate the class of 2010. Isn't that fabulous? Thank you so much. I'm glad to welcome our distinguished guests. Especially delighted to have with us Trustee Chen, you will hear from him later, and Senior Vice Chancellor Hershenson. And we have many of our legislative officials with us. I don't know if Councilman Comrie is here, but again, you too will hear from him later. But now, I'd like to invite our MC back to the stage to introduce our keynote speaker this morning. Dr. Barron?
Thank you so much, Dr. Keys. Our commencement speaker, John Liu, serves as the 43rd Comptroller of the City of New York, independently elected and sworn into office on January 1st to protect and enhance the fiscal health of New York. In his first months as the city's chief financial officer, John Liu has sharpened the tools of the Comptroller's office to make government more efficient and accountable to the people we serve. John Liu served in the New York City Council, representing District 20 in Queens, and served as chair of the council's Transportation Committee. His most significant accomplishments as a legislator included exposing financial irregularities at the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the MTA, and enacting legislation that ensures equal access to city services regardless of language ability. Hailed as a trailblazer and a pioneer, John Liu's historic elections as the first Asian American elected in New York City government, both to legislative office in 2001 and citywide in 2009, were milestones for Asian Americans in New York and across the nation. Migrating to New York at the age of 5 with his parents, Comptroller Liu is a proud product of the New York City public schools, including kindergarten at PS 20 in Queens and the Bronx High School of Science at Binghamton University. He earned his degree in mathematical physics. He lives in Flushing, Queens with his wife, Jenny, and their son, Joseph. Please welcome the Honorable John C. Liu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barron, for that very kind introduction. It's a tremendous honor to be here at York College because President Marcia Keys and all the faculty and staff members have turned out yet another incredible class of graduates from York College for New York and indeed America. And it's a proud day for all the parents and the family members who are here to watch their young loved one move on to their next stage in their lives and careers. I know how you feel. My son is graduating also from the 4th grade, and it's an emotional time, but we know he's gonna make it. And most of all, this is a proud day for the class of 2010 at York College. It's a day you have worked long and hard to earn, and you must enjoy the beautiful day that it is, the beautiful day in so many different respects. York College is indeed a special place. It's a place that I've spent quite a bit of time in many years. coming to award ceremonies, to cultural affairs, and to community forums. Your college is such a center for the community here in Queens and indeed New York City. And it's no wonder that the academic excellence here in York, at York, is renowned everywhere. And so as you move on to the next stages, there will be some challenges that come your way. I encourage you, I implore you to take on every single challenge, not as a difficulty, but as an opportunity to further build the skills and the character and the foundation that you've already gotten such a great start on here at York College. New York City is such a wonderful place. We like to call it the international capital of the world. And it is because of York College and the other CUNY schools that make New York such a special place. It's such a special place that somebody like me, an immigrant from Taiwan, if you look carefully on the back of my neck, it still says made in Taiwan. To come here to America, right here to Queens, go to public schools, have hardworking parents, go on to university upstate and come back to New York City and have a career in the finances, and then actually run for office and get elected to the New York City Council. And now, for the last 147 days, serve as New York City Comptroller. It's an amazing place. And if somebody like me could do it, then so can each and every one of you here today, because that's how much potential you each have. And that's how rife with opportunity New York City is. In fact, there are so many issues and challenges that face our city, indeed the nation. We have, earlier this year in Washington, under the leadership of President Obama, passed health care reform. That will finally recognize that health care is not a commodity for the well-to-do, but in fact is a right for every American. We now have financial reform making its way through Congress. And of course, much of the issues centered right here in New York City. Financial reform that I was really honored to listen to President Obama presented just a few weeks ago here in New York City, that I believe will strengthen the financial economy, and at the same time introduce strong protections for consumers in a financial market that continues to get ever more complex, and encourage long-term investment and not the cowboy-style trading that has gone on too much for too long. Strengthening the financial market through reform will actually bolster New York City's dominance among world markets. And that is something that will benefit New Yorkers and provide all of you and all of us with so many more opportunities in the coming years. And now we also have the issue or the necessity for immigration, for comprehensive immigration reform in this country. And I'm so proud that so many New Yorkers have stood up and voiced our concern, our outrage about what another state a couple of thousand miles away has enacted into law. A state that somehow thinks that they are protecting their borders, when in fact the legislation passed in Arizona is not just anti-immigrant, it's un-American. It requires law enforcement to pick people out based on the way they look. That's not what this country is about. That's not what we're about. So there are so many issues of national import that are converging right here in many ways in New York City. And these are the issues that as you leave today with your degrees, you can absolutely have an impact on by getting involved, by staying on top of the issues, no matter what profession you go into. And you have so many choices ahead of you. You could go on and leave, as many York College students do, and get a career in the various professions. Many of you will invariably go on to starting your small businesses. And in New York City, we are undertaking massive efforts to reduce the disparities for minority and women-owned business enterprises. Many of you will also continue or to begin to raise your families. Some of you may even run for office. Don't run against me, please. And of course, I know many of you are thinking of coming back to York College and becoming a teacher or a professor. There's so many choices that lay ahead of you. And as you ponder those choices and embark on your careers, always remember that there's something you can give back to on so many of those different issues, or just volunteering locally in the community and helping somebody in the next generation succeed as you have. So many choices ahead of you, so many opportunities to hone your own skills and develop your own characters even further. I'm so proud to be here today as somebody who grew up almost all of my life here in Queens, and to see the hundreds of graduates that we are celebrating today. You have your entire lives ahead of you, and we know that you will make something great out of your lives and that you will add to the beauty of New York City and indeed America. So let me close by congratulating one of the best, our valedictorian, Joy Yao, who we'll hear from later. And in fact, Joy's experience exemplifies what is York College and indeed what is New York City. So once again, let me congratulate Dr. Keys and all the faculty and staff member here at York College. What an incredible job you have done preparing these graduates for not only the rest of their lives, but indeed the future of our city and our country. And congratulate all of the loving family members here. You have played a vital role in helping these graduates get to this point in their lives and careers. And most of all, congratulations. Congratulations to the distinguished class of 2010 at CUNY's York College. You've earned it. Thank you very much.
It has been recommended by the faculty of York College and approved by the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York to confer 2 such honorary degrees this morning. The first, I'll read the bio of our first honoree, Joseph T. Wells. He is the founder and chairman of the board of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, ACFE, the world's largest anti-fraud organization, with approximately 50,000 members in more than 125 countries. The Certified Fraud Examiner credential is recognized by the FBI, U.S. Postal Inspection Service, Government Accountability Office, Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigations Division, U.S. Department of Justice, and other law enforcement agencies for purposes of employment and promotion. After graduating with honors from the University of Oklahoma, Mr. Wells spent 2 years on the audit staff of the large accounting firm Coopers and Lybrand, now known as PricewaterhouseCoopers. He subsequently was appointed special agent of the FBI and investigated thousands of fraud cases, ranging from nickel and dime con artists to former attorney John Mitchell for his role in the Watergate scandal. In 1982, he left the government to form Wells and Associates, a firm of criminologists specializing in fraud, detecting, and deterrence. Since becoming chairman of the ACFE in 1988, Mr. Wells has lectured to tens of thousands of business professionals, written 16 books, authors hundreds of articles, and developed scores of anti-fraud educational programs. His writing has won numerous awards, including the Best Articles of the Year for both Internal Auditor Magazine and the Journal of Accountancy. He has been invited to speak at academic and professional conferences around the world and conducted a major international research project concerning occupational fraud and abuse. This study, which is updated biannually, continues to be the most widely quoted source on the subject. In addition to his duties as ACFE chairman, Mr. Wells is a former adjunct professor at the graduate school at the University of Texas at Austin, where his pioneering work has been recognized by the American Accounting Association, which named him Accounting Education Innovator of the Year in 2002. Mr. Wells has served on various senior committees of the American Institute of CPAs, and he was named to the AICPA's Business and Industry Hall of Fame. Accounting Today magazine included him in their list of the top 100 most influential people in accounting for 9 consecutive years.
Mr. Wells, please come forward. And the provost. And I just want to make one correction. We're only giving one honorary doctorate today, and that is to Mr. Wells. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of York College and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Commercial Science with all of the rights, privileges, immunities, and honors thereunto appertaining. And now, the provost and I will do the ceremonial pudding. Provost, your help, please. Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Wells.
Thank you very much, Madam President. You know, I think you could have saved some time on my introduction by just introducing me as the greatest man in the history of the world. I am so honored to be here. Thank you very much, President Keyes, Provost Griffith, the faculty. This is a wonderful yet humbling honor for me. I'd like to thank President Keyes, the York College faculty senators, Chancellor Matthew Goldstein, the CUNY Board of Trustees, but special thanks are reserved for my friend and colleague, Professor Mary Jo Kronecker, who nominated me for this honorary doctorate. This is a very important day for me, so I invited the most important people in my life to be here to celebrate this occasion with me: my wife, Judy, my adopted daughter, Lonnie, and my associate of 20 years, Jeanette Levy. But today is about you. York's 2010 graduating class. Let me please join in everyone here in congratulating today's graduates. While I'm in the sunset of my career, you are in the sunrise of yours. Looking back, it seems like only the blink of an eye since I graduated from college. In truth, it's been 40 years. You might wonder what a guy from the dusty plains of Oklahoma has in common with all of you. The answer is more than you would think. Many of you have encountered challenges along the roads in your lives. So did I. As a child, I was among the poorest of the poor, and my family didn't provide me with a good role model. As a matter of fact, I'm the only person in my entire family who ever even graduated from high school. And when I was growing up, I came from what was referred then to as a broken home. In fact, few people believed that I would ever amount to anything. But there's a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that is true for me. All of my life started out tough. Those experiences have given me the strength I needed to eventually succeed. If things have been difficult for you too, that will turn out to be a blessing in disguise. There's one more thing that this boy from the Oklahoma Plains has in common with York's graduates, and that is, for most of you, your career could take you in very different directions from what you may envision today. I had an accounting degree and figured that I would be involved in the financial aspects of business. I never dreamed at the time about being a real-life, gun-toting FBI agent, but I was. And it never occurred to me that I would be later responsible for starting the world's largest anti-fraud organization, but I did. No single decision in my life, and there have been many, was as important as graduating from college. You'll also come to understand that this is one of the best commitments of your time and effort that you will ever make. I wish all of you the best of luck in the future, and again, thanks to York College for bestowing this honor on me. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
We have one more photograph to take.
With us this morning to bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York is Wellington Z. Chen. Trustee Chen has served on the CUNY Board of Trustees for 10 years, and President Keyes remembers that he was one of the first trustees to visit York when she began her tenure in 2005. He remains a strong friend of York College. Born in Taiwan, he lived in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Brazil before arriving in New York City over 30 years ago as an adolescent. A longtime resident and community leader of Queens, he graduated from the School of Architecture and Environmental Studies at City College. He was the first Chinese American in Queens to serve on a community planning board where he chaired the cultural affairs, housing, landmarks, planning, and zoning committees and helped to bring about the revival of downtown Flushing. Trustee Chen is currently the executive director of the Chinatown Partnership Development Corporation. And in this capacity, he leads the Chinatown Partnership in implementing major initiatives in tourism, marketing, and public space improvements in a comprehensive effort to improve business conditions. Trustee Chen is chair of the board's Standing Committee on Academic Policy, Program, and Research, and holds membership of the board's Standing Committee of Facilities, Planning, and Management. Please welcome Trustee Chen.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for that kind remark. Comptroller John Liu, President Marcia Keyes, CUNY Senior Vice Chancellor and Board Secretary Jay Hershenson, Joseph Wells, Carla Towery, William Jefferson, other honor guests, distinguished members of the faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, you, the York graduating class of 2010. It is my great pleasure to be here with you today to bring greetings and congratulations on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York as we honor the graduation of over 800 York College students. Today's graduates, as Senator Schumer alluded to earlier, include 11 veterans of the Iraq and Afghan wars. Please give them a round of applause. As we like to say, this is harvest time. You are the pride of your college, the pride of CUNY, and the pride of New York City, but more importantly, the future of the world. A word of thanks to President Marcia Keyes. Your college continues its remarkable renaissance under her strong leadership at your college. Student enrollment and full-time faculty hires are still on the rise, and more faculty are providing academic advisement to help all students achieve their dreams. Plans are underway for the CUNY School of Pharmacy here at York, and York College is graduating its first ever full cohort of aviation majors. Since its founding 44 years ago, York College has graduated more than 21,000 students. Many York alumni have devoted their careers to the betterment of society. In fact, York College alumni of the classes of 1970, 1975, 1980, and 1985 are here today to celebrate their 35th, their 30th, 25th, and 20th reunions respectively. Let's give them a round of applause. Like many of you here today, they came from other countries to pursue their dreams. Many of you are the first in your family to earn a college degree. All of you have arrived the old-fashioned way. You have earned it. A good measure of your success at your college is also due in large part to the dedicated faculty who over the years have added so much to your learning experience, and without their help, some of the obstacles may have seemed insurmountable. So also, please give a round of applause to all the distinguished faculty here. Like the Valedictorian Joy Yao, and I hope I don't butcher all the names down here, Mark Scholars Adeyola Adebayo, Daxon Brown, Anika Tori, Sherida Raman, Nicholas Hunt Walker, Alexandra Niruma, Victor Umi, Udingo Mitchell. You have attained your degrees for your hard work, dedication, and perseverance. You have overcome many challenges to achieve your goal, and today the taste of achievement is indeed sweet. I would like to especially thank all the families here who lended their enduring support. Let's give a round of applause to all the families and loved ones that are here to support, that gave so much. In conclusion, be proud of yourselves. You have to respect yourself for the rest of the world to look up upon us. Celebrate yourself as your college, your president, your professors, your families, and your friends celebrate you. Always remember the old Chinese saying, learning is a lifelong experience and enterprise. So keep on learning, and I hope to see you here back in a few years and giving back to this college and to this great city. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you again, Trustee Chen. The president smiled when she asked me to introduce this gentleman who's going to bring greetings on behalf of Chancellor Matthew Goldstein. That is Mr. J. Hershenson, Senior Vice Chancellor for University Relations and Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the City University. His portfolio includes the development and implementation of CUNY's external relations program, including governmental, media, and community relations, marketing communications, CUNY TV, and the administration of the Board of Trustees agenda, meetings, and records. He has served as Vice Chancellor since 1984 and has worked in senior-level administrative positions for 6 CUNY chancellors and with over 100 CUNY trustees since the mid-1970s. He has made a lifelong commitment to education and, in particular, to the use of higher education to positively transform lives. Vice Chancellor Hershenson received an MA in Urban Studies and a BA in Communications, Arts and Sciences, and University Administration from Queens College, CUNY, after transferring from Queensborough Community College in 1974. He was elected and re-elected in 1975 to serve as the chairperson of the university's Student Senate of CUNY and became the first elected student trustee on the university's Board of Trustees. He is the CUNY historian with a recall of the details of many important facts on the institution, movements, students, and leading personalities, and a stalwart supporter of York. Please welcome Senior Vice Chancellor Hershenson.
Good morning. Trustee Chen, President Extraordinaire Marcia Keys, does she deserve a great round of applause? Commencement speaker and the great New York City Comptroller John Liu, who did attend one of the schools at Hunter College for a short time frame, so we will always count him as a CUNY graduate. Let's give him another round of applause. Distinguished members of the Platform Party, our honorary degree recipient, members of the faculty, staff, and most importantly, you, the great graduating class of 2010. What an honor it is to bring you greetings on behalf of the City University of New York. Today, you finally put Speech 101 and English 125 behind you. Today, you finally put pre-calculus and chemistry 101 behind you. And today, you finally put the E and J trains and the Parson and Archer bus terminal behind you. Now, I have a special appreciation in my heart for your achievements. I took my first classes in 1968 at the original York College site at Queensborough Community College in Bayside. I was only 10 years old at the time. It was known as the Early College Now program. You know, I want you to always remember, getting older is a function of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Now, my class was in a small temporary building. There was a sign on the front of the building that said, "Your college." The sign was larger than the building. 42 years later, I see a beautiful 50-acre campus, a fabulous college president, a world-class faculty, proud parents and relatives, and you, all 815 of you, ready and eager to show the world the benefits of a York College education. Tomorrow you begin a new journey, whether it be employment or on to graduate school, law school, medical school. You have renewed determination and new credentials from a world-class institution to advance your career and further improve the quality of your life, your family, and your community. But you cannot improve the quality of your community unless you get involved and participate, utilizing the skills that you gain from your college. You live in a city where only 26% of all eligible New Yorkers voted in the last municipal election. You are graduating from a university that produced many students who helped organize voter registration drives, including a CUNY student who gave his life in Mississippi in 1964 so others would be assured of their right to vote. A CUNY student died for your right to vote. So this fall, when elections come around again, proudly wear your York College sweatshirt or t-shirt or cap to the polls. Wear it to the polls and be sure to exercise your right to vote for the candidate of your choice. Let everybody in this city know that CUNY votes. As you move forward and you receive alumni literature from your college, and you will, remember, there are only two kinds of people in the world: those who cannot remember where they came from and those who cannot forget. Always remember your college. God bless you all.
Thank you, our friend, Senior Vice Chancellor Hershenson. As we move our program, and I think we're doing quite well now, we're pretty much on time, I'd like to bring to the podium to bestow an honor that we have established a few years ago, to present the Presidential Medal to two individuals who have been significant supporters of York for many, many years. I'd like to ask Mr. William Jefferson to come to the podium first, and then I'm going to ask the designee for Mr. Carlisle Towery to be just behind him. As Mr. Jefferson comes to the podium, I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. A native of Southampton, New York, he received his undergraduate degree from Elizabeth City State University. He spent 2 years in the U.S. Army during the Korean War, and upon his return, he earned a master's degree from Teachers College, Columbia University. Mr. Jefferson has held a long-held belief that education is the vehicle to advancement. He has participated in service to his Queens community in many different ways, in the public school sector, in the Boy Scouts. He co-founded the United Black Men of Queens Mentoring Program. He has served in church, school, youth groups, and of course, in his neighborhood, as president and block captain of the Federation of Laurelton Block Associations. Mr. Jefferson is a retired Wall Street broker, former president of the Board of Trustees of the Queensborough Public Library. He's a charter member of the United Black Men of Queens, and he has served for over 15 years on the President's Advisory Council of York College. He served well before I came here under Dr. Kidd, and he continues to give loyal, dedicated service to this institution as a member of the advisory board. Mr. Jefferson is a longtime resident of Laurelton. He is married to the former Charlotte Garnett, and he's the proud father of Lydia, who is a project manager for Accenture, and a son, Lawrence, who is a lawyer with the New York City Transit Authority. Mr. Jefferson, it is my honor to present to you the Presidential Medal for your commitment to York College and the service that you have given so faithfully, not only to me as president, but to presidents before me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Keyes. I am overwhelmed with this acknowledgement of the loyal service that I wanted to give to York. York College means so much to the community, so much to the families that live in the surrounding areas, that we're going to make this our goal to be. Thank you for honoring me with this prestigious award. I will accept it in a sense of deep humility, as well with much welcome to you. I am grateful for the opportunity to have served York College. It is a lifelong achievement on my area to be associated with a university that means so much to the community. I serve mostly, as has been stated, on the York College Community Advisory Council. This council has made the evidence of things that Dr. Keyes has brought to this campus, to this community, this advisory board. I like to thank Dr. Keyes personally for her advisement, for her leadership. She has really made this fourth decade of York College something to be looked up to. She is not only a committed teacher, she is also one who strives to maintain the quality of service that York colleges can produce. And my internal gratitude for her, for being here, for helping to make York as it is. Her tenure has seen a vibrant, energetic, energized committee of trustees, faculty, and members here at York. On that, I thank you so much for this opportunity. Bye-bye.
And would Mr. Peter Engelbert please come forward as I read the brief bio of Mr. F. Carlisle Towery, who is our second honoree for the Presidential Medal. Mr. Carlisle Towery has devoted his entire professional life to urban planning and economic development. Since 1971, he's been with Greater Jamaica Development Corporation. He was born in Alexander City, Alabama. He studied at Antioch College, earning a baccalaureate degree and then an architecture degree from Auburn University. He has also served as a professor at Columbia University. From 1969 to 1971, he was the chief urban designer for the prestigious Regional Plan Association, helping to prepare the plans and to develop the analysis for New York's Lower Hudson Valley and for Jamaica Center. A key element of this proposal was to revitalize Jamaica. It was the formation of the nonprofit organization of local businesses and community leaders that would work with government officials to execute specific projects. And some of those projects include the following: the rebuilding of the Archer Avenue subway line, the locating of York College right here in Jamaica, the locating of the regional headquarters of the U.S. Social Security here in Jamaica, and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration right here on the campus of York, so that some of you have the opportunity to serve as interns and to do research in that particular lab. He also worked to establish the BIDS here in Jamaica and to establish cultural and art centers in Jamaica. This work continues, and Mr. Towery unfortunately could not be here today, but we wanted to recognize his work here in Queens and here in Jamaica, and especially his partnership with York College. So if Mr. Engelbrandt will come forward, I would like to present the Presidential Medal to Carlisle Towery of Greater Jamaica, and to thank him for his work in behalf of York and in behalf of Queens. Congratulations. I won't put it on since it's right. Okay, good.
Thank you very much, President Keyes. Carlisle regrets that he cannot make it here today. It's an absolutely wonderful day, and I know that he really wants to be here. He told me to tell you that he is deeply committed to building strong town-gown relationships and strengthening the links between the campus and the downtown. He very much appreciates this award. Thank you very much.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ivalor Lloyd Griffith, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Provost Griffith.
I want to go off script for a minute just to be sure that we have people in the house from certain departments. Is there anyone from Accounting and Finance in the house? Are there any students from the Department of Accounting and Finance in the house? I want to hear a response of some kind. Yay, scream, do something. Let's start again. Accounting and Finance? What about psychology? Is there anyone from Business and Economics in the house? Do we have any students from Chemistry and Biology? Madam President, I just wanted to be sure these students are here. I'll check on the others later. Madam President, collectively, our students have devoted themselves to education and they have excelled. Each of our students deserves special recognition. However, only one of our outstanding students is recognized to speak on behalf of the entire class, and that person is the student who earns the distinction of being designated the class valedictorian. This year, the student being honored as the 2010 class valedictorian is Miss Joy Yao. A round of applause to Miss Yao, please. I want to embarrass Joy a little bit by telling you a little bit about her. I do this to my daughter as well. Miss Yao is a mathematics major with a GPA. Yes, Miss Yao is a mathematics major. Miss Yao is a mathematics and computer science student with a GPA of 3.89. Joy was born in Panama. She plans to attend graduate school after spending some time in China, reconnecting with family and her roots. Joy has a distinct interest in teaching, and she wants to be able to teach math in public schools ultimately. Madam President, I present to you and to the class of 2010 our valedictorian, Ms. Joy Yao.
Thank you, Provost Griffith. Good morning, President Keys, Provost Griffith, Honorable John Liu, Trustee Chen, Senior Vice Chancellor Hershenson, Vice President, Deans, faculty, guests, family, friends, and fellow graduates. Hasn't college been just like a long and tiring workout at the gym? When we first start working out, especially after a long hiatus, we may not be comfortable with all the machines and exercises. Afterwards, we stretch our muscles and feel relief. Then we wake up the next day. Oh, the aching. Sometimes we can barely get up, let alone return to the gym. This is exactly how college started out for most of us. We had just entered an unfamiliar environment, and we did not know what was expected of us by our professors. We did not know what kind of questions would be asked on our exams or how we should be studying for them. Cramming for an exam in the crowded library or in the cafeteria filled with noisy high school students dashing around like hamsters certainly did not help. Oh, the relief afterwards, though, until the next exam came around. But as we worked out regularly, the aches became fewer and fewer, and our understanding of what we needed to do to achieve the results we wanted in our grades grew. With every era and with each success. Finally, today, our workouts have paid off. After 4 or more years together, I can see from here that our mental muscles are all flat with six-packs and are no longer flabby. In my 4 years at York, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to reach school, the same to return, a total of 3.5 hours on the subway. Some semesters, I had class from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, 3 or 4 days a week. I would have to leave my house at 6 in the morning and would not get home until about 10 at night. On top of that, I had work 3 days a week. And after coming home from school, I would have to manage homework, papers, exams, as well as trivial things like eating, showering, and sleeping. This was my life for most of my 4 years at York College. During my freshman year, I thought I could not take the traveling, and I applied for a transfer. But when the time came to make my decision, however, I decided to stay. The long ride to school was worth the education I was receiving. Now, I do not tell this tale because it is unique. quite the opposite. I know that at the heart of my story is everybody's story. It is the story of most of our lives at York. Wow, such excitement today. Can I feel it? But there was excitement in the beginning too. Excited to be out of high school. Then came the homework, papers, projects, midterms, exams, and the list just goes on and on. Well, now that we have reached the end of our undergraduate careers, we are filled with that rich feeling of fulfillment. Anticipation is in the air today for our futures, but thankfully, not for our papers or exams. Now let us remember back at Speech 101, when we were all at the edge of our seats, waiting to be called up randomly to speak, not knowing whether you were next or not. That feeling of anxiety, well, college has been nothing but anticipation and anxiety. Now we are all asking ourselves, what's next after I graduate? We are all embarking on our separate paths, whether toward graduate school or that dream job. Whatever our next step, let us remember all that we were taught here and everyone we came in contact with. All of it has made a difference. And let us give thanks to everyone who provided us with support and unwavering faith in our ability to make it through it all. I want to thank Professor Farley Moyer. Thank you, Professor Moyer, for proving to me that a calculator can take a backseat to our minds. But whose name would I not mention? Would any of us not mention? To all our professors, then. Thank you for filling us with knowledge, for challenging us, for thinking we were worth it. To my fellow graduates, thank you for making it easier to get through each class and each semester. To my mom, dad, and sisters, thank you for always believing in me and supporting all my decisions. Remember the feeling you had on the last day of your final? The feeling that you were almost finished? Well, now we are done, and all that kind of anticipation is behind us. We are now filled with a sense of accomplishment. It's relief and it's joy. Let us all be joyful for today. As Helen Lesman once said, let us never be afraid of endings or beginnings. Teach us to embrace all of life with joy. Congratulations, class of 2010. We made it.
For our valedictorian, in recognition of her academic excellence, we have something for her, a plaque. Come this way. Please accept it. And just so you know, there's a little something behind here as well. Congratulations.
I would like to ask the president of the Student Government Association Janelle Dyer, to come forward to bring greetings to her fellow graduates. Janelle Dyer, please come forward.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, President Keys. Good afternoon, administrators, faculty, staff, family, friends, and class of 2010. Congratulations to you. Now, I'm just going to do this very quickly. In the book of Matthew from the Bible, chapter 13, from verse 3, it says, "Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth. And forthwith they sprung up, because they had no depthness of the earth. And when the sun, sorry, I don't have my glasses on, I'm sorry. And when the sun was up, and they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, and some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold." Now, last night I was at a funeral, and while I was there, I was thinking to myself that what I plan to do tomorrow does not have as much merit as what I have done today. So, inside of each of you, there is a seed. So, on behalf of student government, the challenge to you is to be good ground to the seeds that have been dispersed to you over the past 4 years that you've been here. What you do now will show us what type of ground those seeds fell on. Water your seed. Water your seed and watch it germinate, and extend your roots into the depths and into the foundations of the earth, so that it will grow and become a strong pillar. And when it bears fruit, the seed of that fruit will fall onto a foundation that has been prepared for it. We are not the knowledge, or we do not hold the knowledge of tomorrow. We are not the young people of tomorrow. We are the young people of today. We hold the knowledge of today that will affect tomorrow. A lot of people complain about the status of today's generation, about the instability of today's generation. And a lot of today's generation is unfortunately unstable. But what some of those people fail to realize is that they are partially at fault for the instability of today's generation, because they failed to make a firm foundation for the next generation. So, do not be like them. You have strived and you have attained this much. Congratulations. It feels awesome, and I'm pretty sure it does for you too, to have achieved a degree. And I know many of you in here probably never thought that you would ever make it into college, and in a few hours, you will all be alumni of your college. So the challenge remains. Water your seed. Be the foundation for the next generation. On behalf of student government, we want to thank you for allowing us to be your representatives for the past year. Good luck, and you have made it 2020.
It's funny. But you know,